my lovely little coffee beans. My name is Sarah. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about my August TBR. So, the month of August is gonna be a booked month. Pun intended. It is gonna be all booked up because there are at least 7 readathons / readalongs going on this month. I don't know who decided that August was the month of readathons and readalongs, but I have beef with this person, and I'm a vegetarian, so that's saying a lot. But let's just go ahead and get into all of the books that I plan to read this month. So starting off with book clubs, the first book that I want to talk about is the Sugar and Spice book club pick for this month, and that is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. This book is a dark romance. It involves the deep sea. There's a man named Enzo, there's lighthouses, there's sharks. That's pretty much all I know about it, and that's all I need to know. I've only heard great things about H.D. Carlton's other books, specifically the Cat and Mouse duet, Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline, but I have yet to read those. I own the first one, but you know, I don't read the books that I own apparently. This is one of the books that I own that I am gonna read this month, so love that for me. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about this book with Lachlan and Manda. We will be having the live show over on Manda's channel, and it'll be on the 30th. The next book club book that I want to talk about is for the Classic Literature Book Club. This month it is Mo's pick, and she picked Whispers in the Dark by Letitia Newton. I think that's how you say her first name, not really sure, but regardless, I know this book is supposed to be very, very dark. There are lots of trigger warnings, so make sure to do your own research with that before joining us. If you want to join us, you should. Be sure to keep an eye out on the Roomies Instagram as well as their community tab for updates on when the live shows are going to be happening, because they'll be happening on the Roomies channel this month. I'm also going to be reading Upgrade by Blake Crouch for the Pyramid Book Club, which is run by Lexi over at Books with Lexi, Michelle from Michelle's Library, and Monica from A Little Bit of Monica. This will be my first time reading a Blake Crouch book. I do own both of his other books, Dark Matter and Recursion, but I've yet to read either of them because, you know, sci-fi is not really my thing, but I'm hoping that this month I will start to like sci-fi because there is another sci-fi book in my TBR, so maybe I'll be a sci-fi girly. Who knows? Upgrade by Blake Crouch, I don't really know exactly what it's about. Let me just read you this tiny little blurb. Upgrade is a lightning-fast tale that charts one man's thrilling transformation even as it asks us to ponder the limits of our humanity and our boundless potential. So sounds pretty dope, and I'm super excited to read it. Hopefully it doesn't all go over my head and that I end up really liking it. Okay, and moving right along into read-alongs, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, also run by Lexi from Books with Lexi. I've never read a book about space, I don't think. I mean, unless you count On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, but I've never read The Martian. I've never been interested in reading books that are set in space, but I'm doing it for Lexi, okay? This is one of her favorite books, if not her favorite book of all time, and she's rereading it this month with all of us. It kind of was a spur of the moment idea. A lot of people were interested in reading that book, and she said, okay, I'll reread it. I'll set up a little, you know, buddy read for everyone. So it's a group buddy read, but I'm gonna call it a read along. But yeah, so we're gonna be reading Project Hail Mary, and I'm nervous, I'm scared, I am going in with low expectations. I don't know, I hope I don't hate it. That's all I have to say about that, but I don't know anything about it other than it's Lexi's favorite book, and also it's set in space. Also, I've heard it's funny. That's all I know. The live show for Project Hail Mary will be on her channel on the 27th at 2 p.m. EDT, so I will be in the comments. And then the other read-along that I am participating in this month is one that I'm co-hosting along with a bunch of my friends, and that is the Twilight read-along. Obviously, we're gonna be reading Twilight, and I have 2 separate copies now, and I don't know which one I want to annotate because I am going to be annotating this time around. So let me know in the comments down below which one you think that I should annotate. I'm leaning more towards this one just because I feel like the white is very aesthetically pleasing and it would look even more amazing and aesthetic if I had red tabs in this book. I'm super excited to be rereading Twilight for the very first time. I only read the books once when I was in middle school, so this is my first time rereading them, and I just am so excited to be reading them with so many of you. Oh my god, the Discord is amazing already. I will link the Discord down below for the read along, and there's a lot of interactions going on there, people who are talking about how many times they've reread the books, all that kind of stuff. And just a reminder, we will be streaming the movie on Teleparty on the 26th, so hopefully you want to watch the movie with us as well. Okay, so now let's get into the readathons. I'm participating in 3 readathons this month. I know I said there are 7, at least 7 going on this month, but I'm personally only participating in 3. I'm gonna try to loosely participate in other ones, but for the time being, I only have so much time, so I'm only really participating in 3. So the first one obviously is one that I co-host every month alongside Amanda, and that is the 24-hour KU readathon happening from the 12th through the 13th. Whatever time you want to start, you know us, it's very loose. You can start whenever you feel like it. You can start at 10 p.m., you can start at 10 a.m. Just read KU books for 24 hours. That is the criteria. Our buddy read for this month is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Me and Monster Romances, we have a rocky relationship, and I don't know why I keep coming back to them and I keep putting myself in a position to read them, but here we are, and hopefully it's not a dud. Hopefully I do really like it. I love the cover, it's so pretty, and if I do end up liking that one, then I will be hopping straight into the second one, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf, which, oh my god, that's such a long title, but at the same time, the word yeeted is in the title, and that just cracks me up every single time I say it. Like, is it a 5-star prediction just for that? Maybe. But yeah, those are both fairly short little novellas. They're both less than 300 pages, so definitely doable within the 24 hours. And then the rest of my plans for the 24-hour KU readathon are a little bit up in the air because I'm trying to combine some of the books with the prompts for Jan's readathon, which will be happening the same week, and I'm also participating in that readathon. And that readathon is called the Full Moon Readathon, and that'll be happening from the 7th to the 14th, so Sunday to Sunday. And like I just said, the KU readathon is on the 12th and the 13th, so I'm trying to overlap some of the books. That way I don't have to put Jan's readathon on pause and start the 24-hour KU one and then try to come back into the Full Moon readathon. I'm trying to make it as smooth as possible. I'm gonna try to go over this the best that I can. I'm gonna walk you through the books that I'm gonna read for each prompt for the Full Moon readathon, and we're just gonna see how this goes, because I was trying to plan this out right before sitting down to film this, and I even confused myself. So the basic premise for the Full Moon readathon is there are 4 characters to collect. There's a witch, there's a bat, there's a ghost, and there's a wolf. You have to do each prompt in order to collect said character. Each character has 3 prompts, 1 crescent moon prompt, 1 half moon prompt, and 1 full moon prompt. So you have to complete the crescent moon one, and then the half moon, and then the full moon, which the full moon one is more of like a life prompt. So to make this as easy as possible, or at least as easy as possible in my mind, I am choosing to double up on the prompts for each character. So I'm doubling up on each crescent moon and half moon prompt under each character. So let me go through that with you right now. So the prompts for collecting the witch are involves magic for the crescent moon prompt, and then set in autumn for the half moon prompt. So I combined both of those prompts, and I'm going to be reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. This is a pretty thick book for a readathon, and also I never read fantasy, so I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but apparently I just like to suffer. So this is my tentative plan. If I don't get to this book, I won't be too upset about it. I think if I don't get to it, then I'll just have to find another book that's set in autumn, because I do have a backup plan for the Involves Magic prompt, which is that I'm gonna count one of the Mead Mishaps books that I'm already going to be reading for the 24-hour KU readathon, but then I also need to find another book that's set in autumn. And then to collect the bat, the crescent moon prompt is black cover, and then the half moon prompt is dark academia / vampire. In a perfect world, I would be reading Twilight for this prompt, or for both of these prompts, but I also want to fulfill the buzzword readathon prompt for this month, which is an object. So for this, my plan is to read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, because a knife is an object, obviously. But yeah, it has black on the cover and it is a dark academia. And if I don't do that, then I'll just read Twilight. And then to collect the ghost, the crescent moon prompt is to read a spooky book, and the half moon prompt is to read a book by a dead author. And I'm already going to be buddy reading this book with Deja over at Deja's Book World, so I just smashed all three of those things together, and I'll Be Gone in the Dark is what came of it. Michelle McNamara is, in fact, dead. She actually died while still writing this book. And also, what's spookier than a serial killer that breaks into your house? You know what I mean? And like in the dark. So that's that for that. The last character to collect is the wolf, and the crescent moon prompt is to read a book with an animal on the cover, and the half moon prompt is to read a book that you got as a gift. And for that, I'm going to be reading This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. I got this book from Jayla over at Lala Loves Lit. Thank you so much for getting this for me. And it has a dog on the cover, as you can see. He's not really the focal point of the cover, but he's there and he's chilling, so it counts. Now on to the buddy reads. The first book that I'm going to be buddy reading this month is City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Christine over at the Roomies Digest, and I'm reading this book specifically because I needed a historical fiction to fulfill a prompt for the Studio Ghibli readathon. Oh wait, I never said I was participating in the Studio Ghibli readathon. Oh my god. Okay, but anyway, so I'm participating in the Studio Ghibli readathon. I'm only doing the 3 prompts for the movie that I chose, and one of the 3 prompts is to read a historical fiction, and me and historical fiction do not mix whatsoever, but I was asking on my Instagram if anyone had any good recs, and Christine was trying to help me out, Noelle was trying to help me out. We all came together, and this was one of the ones that Noelle recommended, and Christine also said like, oh yeah, I would want to read that with you, so that's what we're doing. All I know about this book is that it's set in the 1940s in New York, and it has to do with theater, fame, all of that kind of stuff, maybe possibly human connection, desire, things like that. So I'm very excited to be buddy reading this with Christine, because otherwise I don't know when or if I would ever get around to reading this. Next up we have Night Shift by Kiara Ladner, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with Jan over at Jan Agaton. All I know about this book is that it follows a girl who becomes obsessed with another woman that works in her office. She switches from day shift to night shift specifically for this woman, and maybe it gets dark, maybe it gets sexual, I don't know. I'm super excited to read this and to read it with Jan. Next up is a romance. There's not a ton of romances, I'm now realizing, on this TBR, which I've been reading a lot of horror books recently, so maybe I'm in my horror era, but one of the 2, well actually no, because I have more on my if I get to these books, I get to them TBR for this month, but out of my actual TBR, this is one of 2. Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did by Monica Murphy. I'm gonna be buddy reading this with Michelle over at Michelle's Library. We buddy read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I have it over here. We both loved it. We both gave that book 5 stars. We ate that shit up. So we're gonna be buddy reading this, and I'm super excited. It's a chunker, let me just tell you, but it's around the same page count as A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, and that book, as soon as I started it, it only took me 2 days to read, so I think that'll be the case with this one as well. And all I know about it is that it is a dark bully romance. After reading A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, Monica Murphy can do no wrong. That lollipop scene though, if you know, you know. Now let's just get into the books that if I can get to them, then I will. and I really want to, but they're not for anything specific. First, we have Mary by Nat Cassidy. Dare I say I will get to this month because I have already started it. I just have been loving horror books recently, so I wanted to read another one and a new release at that. And the cover? Can we just talk about the cover? Like, look at that extra arm there. And then I also want to read Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert this month. I'm ashamed that I haven't read it already, to be completely honest, because of how much I rave about Neon Gods and Electric Idol. And I got this book even before it was released, and I haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm very upset with myself. And then another book I want to read this month is Acts of Service by Lillian Fishman. This is a 5-star prediction for me. I don't know what about it screams 5 stars, but I'm just purely going off of vibes. This is kind of like millennial fiction. It gives me Acts of Desperation vibes. It gives me bleak and toxic romance vibes, but like not an actual romance book, just more girl living her life, discovering her sexuality, that type of thing. But it's pretty short, and I, for whatever reason, think I'm gonna love it. So hopefully I do. Here's the book you've all been waiting for, or I know some people have been waiting for, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Everyone and their mother has been talking about this book recently. Specifically, Lachlan was the first person to talk about it, and then she got everyone else talking about it, and everyone is talking about it because of Lachlan. It is about fame, it's about rich people problems, it's about toxic love, it's about heartbreak, heartache. I mean, sign me up for all of it. I know that I'm gonna be annotating this, and I'm probably gonna run out of tabs multiple times reading this book if I'm going off of what I've seen on other people's Instagram stories of them tabbing every single page. But I'm so excited to get to this month. And Lachlan actually gifted this book to me, so thank you so much, Lachlan, for getting this. I hope I love it as much as you do, and don't hate me if I don't. And now for the very last book. We have come to the very last book that I want to read this month. That book is Nightcrawling by Layla Motley. This book, this edition, first of all, can we talk about it? Look at those sprayed edges. It's supposed to look like the road. I love it so much. This is the UK edition of the book, the Waterstones exclusive edition, and it's just so stunning. It's so stunning. I love it so much. And also, she wrote that she's only 19 years old. 19. And she published a book. I'm 24, and I feel like I've accomplished nothing in my life. But I think she wrote this book when she was 16 or 17, which is freaking impressive already. I haven't even read the damn book, and I know that it's probably gonna be amazing. Kiara Johnson does not know what it is to live as a normal 17-year-old. With her mother in a halfway house and an older brother who devotes his time and money to a recording studio, she fends for herself and for 9-year-old Trevor, whose own mother is prone to disappearing for days at a time. As the landlord of their apartment block threatens to raise their rent, Kiara finds herself walking the streets after dark, determined to survive in a world that refuses to protect her. Then one night, Kiara is picked up by 2 police officers, and the gruesome deal she is offered in exchange for her freedom lands her at the center of a media storm. If she agrees to testify in a grand jury trial, she could help expose the sickening corruption of a police department. But honesty comes at a price, one that could leave her family vulnerable to their retaliation and endanger everyone she loves. And I've also heard that it's loosely based off of her own experience, which is haunting and terrifying. So I just really hope to get to this month, and if I don't get to it this month, then I'm definitely going to be reading it next month. I think that's all the books. Let me know what you guys plan on reading in the month of August, and yeah, I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!